Hi, and welcome to the first stage that you're going to work through in this study, which is stage 1 of heart love. Heart love is all about the passionate experience that we have in our relationship with God. It's different to soul love and mind love in that it focuses on passions and emotions, and the others, as you learn later, are quite different from that. Now, our love relationship with God can ebb and flow, highs and lows, the same as it can with our spouse or our children or our friends. And the character that we're going to be looking at for our study of heart love is King David. I chose to study King David to unpack heart love because when he was picked by God to be the king of Israel, you might know the story. He's the son of Jesse, and the prophet visited Jesse because he had a word from God that the king of Israel was one of Jesse's sons. Now, Jesse presented 7 other sons before the prophet, and the prophet in turn said of each one, no, not him, not him, not him. Eventually, the prophet asked Jesse, do you have any other sons? The Lord is saying it's none of these. And Jesse said, yes, there's the runt of the pack, David, the shepherd boy out in the fields. So David was brought to the prophet. The prophet took one look at David and he said, this is the Lord's anointed. Now, he went on to say, the Lord doesn't look at man the way man does. Man looks at the outward appearance. So presumably the brothers were in top-notch order. David was quite ruddy. The prophet Samuel said, the Lord looks at the heart. And what he saw in David, he was described as a man after God's own heart. So whatever it is about David, he was full on in his heart love for God. So when it comes to the greatest commandment, love the Lord your God with all your heart, David was able to do that. Now, as I said, we have ebb and flows, and David did too. In stage 1 of heart love, there's 6 stages that you're going to navigate through. Stage 1, and this is from David himself, he says, I groan in anguish, for I am about to fall, and my pain is ever with me. That's Psalm 38. So that's where David is one day. Stage 6 in heart love is glorifying. So this is also from David. He says, because your love is better than life, my lips will glorify you. So this is the journey that you're going to go on now in heart love. You're going to go from this despair and groaning and anguish, which is stage 1, all the way through to stage 6, which is glorifying and recognizing that the love of God is better than anything else. Now, I have to admit that this stage 1, which you're working through now, is the worst part of the book. It's the worst part of this spiritual transformation that you're going to go through in growing your love of God, without a doubt. It's called despair because it's a desperate place to be. So I'm just putting that out now so that you can, buckle in, gird your loins and be ready, be prepared. You must be prepared to go down into those depths of anguish in order to work through whatever anguish you have deep within. Now, the challenge with anguish and despair, desperation, and all of these negative emotions that reside deep in us is that they're there and they're deep because we don't poke them. There's some truth to the let a sleeping dog lie. Why would you want to go and poke that? Well, I'm going to ask you to go ahead and poke it and make sure you wake up that sleeping dog and deal with it. You must deal with whatever anxieties you have, whatever fears you have, whatever bitterness, hatred, anger, regrets, despair, all of the baggage that you've totaled along, however, I don't know how old you are. Maybe you're 50 and you've been toting baggage through your life since your teenage years. Maybe you're 70 and you've been toting it for 50 years. Maybe you're in your 20s and you've only got a little bit of baggage accumulated However old you are, if you don't deal daily with your stuff, it turns into baggage, and you've probably got a lot of baggage. So success in this first stage of heart love is really, really hard. It's being thoroughly honest with yourself, being thoroughly courageous to go there, to wake up these hatreds and bitternesses. Now, you can't sit there once you've wakened these things and riled your anger and riled your hatred. It's not to go there to sit in that place. It's to go there, collect those bags, and bring them out and place them where they have to be placed. Now, some of those are confessions before God. Some of those are asking somebody to forgive you. Whatever they are, the book will walk you through dealing with all of that. So here's what you need to do. You need to honestly engage with the material in this stage one despair. I promise you, this is the hardest part of the book. Once you get through stage one of heart love, it's all going to be much, much easier from there. But you've got to deal with that stuff. If you don't, your journey here on is not going to be authentic. You'll be building it on a false foundation, and that will not carry you through to the end. At some point, that will come back to bite. So deal with it now. Don't be afraid of it. Go to those dark places. Deal with your stuff. The costs of not dealing with it are you will continue to roam around feeling lost, feeling displaced, because you won't be operating in fullness and wholeness. You will lack integrity. You will lack authenticity, and you will lack peace and genuine joy in your life. It might be sadness, loneliness, some of the manifestations that you haven't dealt with that stuff in deep down inside you are alcoholism, drug addictions, addictions to pornography, sadness, loneliness, anger, jealousy, envy, lack of purpose in life. All of these are indicators that there's stuff there deep down that you haven't dealt with. I urge you, go into that place, pack your bags of all of that junk, and get it out. You cannot walk this journey carrying that baggage with you. Do the exercises in the book, pray the prayers in the book, make the confessions that the book suggests you make, go before God, be honest before God, and I promise you, you will come out the other side. Not only that, but you'll come out refreshed and ready for an amazing journey ahead. Let me just close with a scripture from Joshua. Joshua chapter 1, verse 9 says, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid. Do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go." I'm praying for you as you navigate through this stage one of heart love despair. Encourage one another, stick with the Lord, and you will get through to the other side. I promise you that. God bless.